Good morning and welcome to another interview. Today we've got our own Rachel Follows with us and we're going to find out how she became a Christian. So, Rachel, tell me about your faith journey.
Right. Well, when I was a child, I used to go to church at Shire Oaks Church at St Luke's, and my mum basically sent us most of the time when we were kids, me and my sister and my brother. And as I got a bit older, I joined the choir, and that was really just an opportunity to muck about, really, to be honest. And used to sort of go in between the two sides of the choir stalls, and it wasn't good, really. And then when I was 10, we moved to Worksop, and I didn't really go to church very much at that point. So at about 3 or 4 years when I really wasn't that involved at all with anything. Then when I was 14, my friend Jill, whose mum used to come to church, and she did, dragged me along because I was stopping at her house, and that was fine. And then the following week, she was staying at my house, so I went again. This is June 1978, I think.
Oh wow!
Yeah, going back a bit. And then I just carried on going, basically, St John's. Then in the autumn, we had a church holiday, and we all went to Ross-on-Sea, which is in Wales. Yeah, Ross-on-Sea. And it was, and there was a speaker, and I remember just learning a Bible verse. I have the strength to face all conditions by the power that Christ gives me. And I just remember the vicar being really interested in me. I was only 14. I could have been. It wasn't. It was just a lovely man. And I just remember that was the point at which I became a Christian. Basically, I gave my life to the Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
And I've been coming ever since, basically.
Wow. So what's that? That's so set from 78 till now. That's 52 years.
50, it's not 52, 42 probably.
42. Well, my maths isn't my strong point, Rachel.
Fair enough.
So the other thing we were going to ask you is, have you got a favourite hymn or Christian song, and why?
Right, I'm going back again. I'm going back quite a long way.
Yeah.
It's Thou didst leave thy throne, thy kingly crown, and they camest to earth for me. And it's the verse that keeps coming backwards and backwards. Oh come to my heart, Lord Jesus. There is room in my heart for thee. Now this is going back to my childhood. I kept wanting to look at things like Cornerstone and all the sort of modern ones, and this kept coming to when you asked me to.
Yeah.
And the reason for it is because when I was about 6 or 8 or 10 or something like that, I used to go to my other grandmas, who lived in Kiverton, and there was just me and her because my dad went off with my granddad to see what Sheffield United. I've just lost half my audience now. And she was a Christian lady. She was very staunch Methodist. We lived next door to the Methodist church for many years, so I think she was used to come and clean it and stuff. And she, I don't think she sang this song to me, but I remember it as a prayer. Oh, come to my heart, Lord Jesus. There's room for me, room in my heart for thee. Yeah. And I just really liked the hymn. And when you said about it, I couldn't really get that one out of my head. And the good thing about it is it goes from Jesus being born, being in his ministry, then to his death, and then to the future when he comes back again. But the important thing is that in all that, he can be with you in your life, in your day-to-day life. And I wasn't a Christian at that point. Or probably was, but I didn't know I was.
Yeah.
And it's just been a really special hymn for me. And we never sing it, so it's not the one that I think particularly, but that's the one I chose. Shall I read a bit of it?
Sorry, yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I'll read the first and the last verses. No, first and the fourth. Thou didst leave thy throne and thy kingly crown when thou camest to earth for me. But in Bethlehem's home was there found no room for thy holy nativity. Oh, come to my heart, Lord Jesus, there is room in my heart for thee. And it says, thou camest, O Lord, with the living word, that thou shouldst set thy people free. With mocking scorn and with crown of thorn, they bore thee to Calvary. Oh, come to my heart, Lord Jesus, thy cross is my only plea. I know it's very old-fashioned, but it's really just, it's about Jesus being in your life, really. And that's what everybody wants, isn't it?
Well, not everybody, unfortunately.
Well, not everybody, but that's what, as a Christian, that's a Christian you want, isn't it?
As a Christian, and it's surprising the impact that songs you sung in your past can have on your life today. You know, nothing is ever lost as a Christian, is it? You know, those words that you learned all those years ago, just, you've been able to feed on them all your life, haven't you, almost?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And that Bible verse that I learned when I was, you know, at Ross-on-Sea, I have the strength to face all conditions. That's one that's just come back to me so many times over the years.
Yeah. That's really fantastic, Rachel. And I'm going to ask you a question you're not expecting now.
Okay.
Oh, you look worried.
Yes, okay.
You can always cut it off. Don't worry. So edit it out. But how have you found being in lockdown, and how have you kept close to God through lockdown? And has it helped you, or has it been a benefit, or not so in your Christian walk?
Well, it's not been locked down in the sort of sense that I've not been going out, because all through the time I've been working, really.
Yes.
So it's not been as sort of intense as some people.
Yeah.
What I have liked about it is just the slower pace, really.
Yes.
I've not been every night rushing off to meetings and stuff like that. Obviously, I've got to ramp myself back up again when it all starts again. But that's, at the moment, that is it's been quite a blessing just to be able to just be, really.
Yes.
And I think my faith has helped my faith. I think it's very much made me realise that it isn't all about the meetings and about the services. It is about my personal walk with Jesus, and it's but things like the WhatsApp group and things like that have been really important to keep me in touch with other people. You know, my Christian family, really, and other people as well. So I think I've also had 2 weeks off work just now as well. So I've got to go back next week.
Oh no.
I know. I've got to keep out of all the stuff that's rubbish. There's lots of good things at work, but there's also lots of rubbish as well. So I've got to be able to keep out of that, really.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That does. That really does make sense. Yeah.
But I mean, I pray for my colleagues, and they know I'm a Christian, and so it is very, they know it's important to me. Equally, they just carry on regardless anyway. But it is you know, it's a good thing, really.
Yes.
You know, I've got to go back to work now. I've got to do it now.
Well, thank you so much for that, Rachel, and just thank you for a little insight into your Christian walk. It's been really good to talk to you. And
Fine, thank
just
you.
Thank you for joining us this morning.